Okay, like I said, I will always try to make videos as much as I can. Um, Understanding there'll be a day I will not be able to speak, and so I'm speaking now while I can. Uh, Let me just start with an introduction. I'm what you call a target individual. I'm a human subject in a program where governmental entities are using my mind, my body, as just human subject as a test field of some sort, where as the typical TI, they're doing the most disturbing things to us using this technology. Currently, what I'm experiencing is just pure fatigue, and that's because I'm thinking that my organs are failing in one way or another. I'm thinking about my internal organs, my gastro organs being destroyed, which makes it hard for me to function. It's funny that they were trying to kind of break me down and say, you always like the comfort life. It's like, no. It's just, the reason why I'm just so fatigued and hard to get the energy is because what they do to me. It's just the reaction of being a target individual. It's hard for you to function, and this trash doing this or involving this in this will not last long doing this. It will not last long be involved in this fashion in regard of being tortured. We're talking about some of the weakest human beings that have lived a comfortable, soft life and will not be able to deal with this kind of torture without killing themselves. I'm talking about most of them are just some people comfortably living a life of, just watching me. But if they were put in this program, like many of us, I don't think they will last as long. They will either end up killing somebody or killing themselves. And so when they try to make me feel like, you stay in bed and this, and like, listen, okay, yeah, for me to be able to function, period, it's a miracle on its own. So I'm like, thank you God that I have the chance to speak and make videos, even though it's taking more energy than I need to spend. It's something I need to do, as those are gonna be my last words at some point. But on top of what they do to my body, the worst part is the mental torture is disturbing and also depleting. It's tiresome. It drives your energy down and breaks you down in the most disgusting ways, and it's non-stop. So even that alone, to be able to function with all this nastiness that we are forced to deal with mentally, not only just the physical aspect of it, but the depletion of your mind with these disgusting ways of breaking you down, is just also a miracle that I'm able to still function and be amicable at times. These things they've done have caused mass shootings. Those weren't people who were thinking about killing. They triggered them by pushing them into insanity with this nastiness. And these people ended up killing. The last mass shooting, the largest one of this year, was a target individual. He killed 18 people. That's the kind of effect of what they do. While this coward low life do whatever they do regardless, and they use these childlike people, it's just so humiliating. It's almost, I think it's part of this agitation. It's part of the mental torment, because you hear childlike trash. Like, these people in the last 2 seconds, like, they're just so like childlike. Is the fragility in their voices, how fraudulent they are. It's just so, it's comical. It's a comical funny. Like, it's beyond, and the way they just want you to accept it. No, it's our money. I was like, oh my gosh, I think at this point you're just making fun of how you're supposed to sound like. I think these people are, at this point, understand that they sound even comical, that they can use that fashion of talking to me as another psychological torment. Because obviously it's not. These trash don't even know what they're gonna eat tomorrow. Like, I mean, I'm saying in the sense of not poverty, but in the sense that they're so childlike, they're so like that. Oh my gosh, it's like they need to be living with somebody. Like, I'm saying that these people are not the most stable individuals. But while involving in this program, the way they interact with me, The way they try and then talk with this tonality, no, yeah, you won't. That's how they sound to me, and you can hear the way I just sounded. It's it's a way to try to agitate somebody. Obviously, I know that these bottom feeders are just contracted by governmental entities, which happen to have a bunch of pedophiles in these agencies. Well, I hear this trash like, no, we mapped it. It's our map. Trash ass. You saw my last videos. Can you imagine being validated to that level? And and have people try to gaslight you with this level of just validation? Like I said, in on Earth, I don't think in life you get any validation the way we target individual get validated, because the testimonials of others is such, it's surreal how exact it is to what you go through. It's surreal. Then you see people who do their best to try to gaslight you. All kind of people, by the way, all kind, not only childlike individual, actually professionals. For example, yesterday I was in a meeting. I'm employed by these people. These people obviously, when employ me as a target individual, so they can get the incentive that they're gonna get from participate. There's obviously some kind of financial incentives. This is not free. I don't think anybody would do it just this, spend all that, compromise themselves to that level for free. There is some kind of incentives, at least for most of them. And the incentive can not only just be the financial aspect of it, but the ability to feel empowered to manipulate somebody. For example, this childlike person talking to me. In any other circumstances, when will she ever feel any empowerment or feel like she can even have the ability to feel so special? She's a nothing. But in this program, these nothings feel special. Now imagine just anybody, the ability to have the control and the manipulations of people, doing so much to people, and deal with sophistication of technology. That is on its own an incentives. So those employer of mine are enjoying those incentives. But they want to enjoy the incentives while living that fantasy they've created to cope with the reality of what they are. To cope with the reality of what they not only are, but what they're part of. So I've seen employers of mine, vice president, whatever, because they enjoy what they're doing. It gives them that godlike. Their participation incentives are so good that they want to continue to do that. But they want to do that in that fantasy of theirs, which is falsified, which they by far know very well know is manipulated, very, very well. I have no, I don't even have an ounce of doubt this trash know exactly that my brain is no longer mine. And for that, they are the piece of low-life shit. And they know from the bottom of my heart, I see them for what they are. They know that. There's this woman, in the past, have literally brought her little baby. She's like 7 years old or so. For the sole reason they do the pedophilia type of torture. And then when they do the stimulation, she will like, oh my God. It's like a grown fucking woman. Also them turn into a child. So, yeah, and she'll look away, like, oh my God, and they're gonna do this, a piece of shit. Now the humiliation that I know, that not only the entities that contract this nasty shit that she's part of are filled with pedophiles doing things to children, and there's been a pattern of that. A pattern of what they've been doing to children. A pattern of this pedophilia and child porn is humiliating to, I can even give her a number, I can say 5,200. Yeah, protecting children, you piece of shit. I truly, there's nothing worse to me than mothers and fathers trying to show their children so they can do this manipulation to me that is this pedophilia-centric manipulations. And then based on the manipulation that I'm forced to experience, then try to make themselves believe who you are. You're a piece of shit. I'd rather die in hell. This is temporary hell, wherever I'm going to go through. It's going to be temporary. It's going to end. It's going to end when I end. So it's temporary. This piece of shit, whatever is going to wait for them, sold their soul to pedophiles. They tortured children. I know this. I heard the testimonies. You heard the testimonies. I'd rather die in every hell on earth than be in a program where even children are being tortured sexually. Why do you think they use these childlike individuals? Do you think they're going to agitate me? If anything, why don't they want to be seen anymore? They torture children sexually, and I know that. They've been humiliated by life. They can't even say a pedophile name that picked up kids as young as 14 years old. I can see that in their faces, they turn red. And you hear them, that bad, that bad, that bad. Yeah. Say his name. Awkward, right? This woman tried to showed her child, and now yesterday she's just trying to talk like, you are a piece of shit. I know you guys are filled with pedophiles. That's why there's a bunch of pedos. So these entities filled with pedophiles and investigating trash us. You've been manipulating people in this pedophilia ways for decades and decades, and it's been shown. And they're like, no, but we mapped it to you when you were a child. Really? Who's mapping this agent download chat on the government devices? You see the reality, how humiliating it is? You have to live on the reality that you falsify, to the point where right now, they tell me how they're going to frame me. That is pure validation. I've never seen more. The things they do to validate me, it's like they don't even know it's so validating. First of all, listen to who's talking to me. Validation. Child like trash. You have to use retards. Sorry for the language, but people who are just mentally retrograde, like they're just behind a little bit. 2, they're talking about how they're gonna frame me, and the frames, 1, include child porn being planted. 2, have a child say something about me or something like that. Not the proof. 3, the testimonials of only everybody else who've been a target individual. A lot of them have said there's a pedophilia type of torture. Obvious validation. Of course, I know myself. I'm just saying that just to show for these people who try to gaslight you. 4, the entities that happen to be running this program have a problem with pedophilia that's been shown to be systematically ongoing. Your trash ass who are contracting, who employed me as a target individual, I don't think that you know that? You think I don't know that the reason why you brought your baby is because you know this is going to be a reaction that is going to be pedophilia centric, which has been done to others? You piece of fucking low life. With all due respect, I say that, and she knows I stand on that. 5, this mass shooting that just happened. Guess what they were saying? Calling him a pedophile. He killed 18 people. One of them was a child, you piece of shit. Now you see the GoFundMe? These babies will never have children. They will never have a father. Now you piece of shit like you push somebody to do these things. You nasty fucking low life. You'll get yours. 6, there's women and their own children being tortured. 7, there's actually children targeted, sexually tortured. You think this trash are the people that are now we're mad that this is fucking trash. You are here killing babies. In every way, these people are low life and trash. They sold their soul to pedophiles, literally. I'm not even going to say sold their soul to the devil or whatever. They sold their soul to pedophiles. There's a problem with pedophilia in these agencies. And now they're here, now they're bad, they're trash, awkward as a motherfucker. Because we know who's the pedos. You heard those articles and those quotes from the director of DSS, saying the amount of child porn he sees when he examines the computer of these employees in the DOD are just unbelievable. The amount of child porn he sees on those computers are unbelievable. And you hear these retards that they use to try to find ways to make Navi mad. It's like, you're a retard. Yesterday there was people working in the hallways. They started strong with the gaslighting. And I understand it's not easy. You have to make yourself damn near retarded. They have to make themselves damn near retarded. That's why they employ special warriors over there. They started strong. I was like, oh really? Let's see how stupid you're gonna make yourself be. Starting light with me, I started with the one of the TED Talk. One man was saying that in the future, when we should worry about the future, which is today, is if your brain is hacked, if somebody wants to harm you, what would they do? Today, if your phone is hacked, if your cell phone is hacked, they can harm you in a way that you're going to lose your money or whatever, but it's not really going to harm you. But if your brain is hacked, Now they can harm you, they can change you. You. They can implant memories that you don't have. They can remove memories. They can control you and you not knowing. This person is like, oh, that's the future. Do you understand? So immediately you see how retarded he had to make himself be. It's like, oh, so this is not, there's no manipulation of the mind. Right after I'm listening to this, may she rest in peace, trans woman called Jackie. She's like, they try to change me, implanting child porn in my brain. Not even, no, sorry. She didn't even say that. She said, try to put, they are trying to change me, implanting thoughts of pedophilia in my thoughts. And I don't know if there's neighbors or whatever, if they're using weapons. I just don't want it. Do you understand how fucking, it's just like, whoa, sounds familiar. Then I'm listening to this Robin Duncan talk about how they try to make it seem, this is a psyop, try to make it seem that it's anything but this large government. He's like, some people say that, they tell them that the Russian government, the Chinese government, some cult, satanical cult, and they start laughing. One target individual thought he was the next door 14-year-old Xbox player. I mean, anything that can make you think to believe that it's not a massive government doing this. Right before that, there was some childlike person that was opening the door and yelling something. And so these people working in the hallways just like, oh shit. It's just like, how obvious is that? The validation is just like, it's surreal. And then I'm like, okay, this woman, Mariana, best testimonials, she gave the most details in one testimonial that I've heard so far. She's like, they do these things where they can make you smell things that are not around you. And then while they do that, they made me smell like some baby powder, and they did this pedophilia type of torture. Like, how retarded do you have to make yourself be? How retarded? You have to literally get to the, I'm sorry for using that hour, but there's no other words I can come up with when these losers, these bottom feeders, they use to gaslight you. There is nothing beyond that. These people either are on the level that's already on that level of spectrism, or they turn on intellect in every way possible. You know what they try to their validation? Me in middle school, the stupid thing I did in middle school. You understand? I'm in my late 30s at this point, mid to late 30s. They're saying, no, what we're doing is we're making you think of what you thought when you were a child. We're mapping. And I see a grown fucking trash like that has a child in middle school, by the way. She has a child that was like 13 years old too. I would like, imagine they made you like, they did these things to you and they're like, no, what we're doing is like, we're making you think the way your child is thinking. Or the age of the child that you have. Piece of shit. They sold the soul to pedophiles. And then you find out that those entities, that's when it becomes even worse for these people that were in the hallways, hoping that they could escape. Then listening to, why is there so many pedophiles in these agencies? Why? Why are they letting so many pedophiles go into their ranks? There's so many pedophiles in these agencies. Then there's a number, there's this like Globe article about it. Only 3,000 to 3,500 out of 5,200 were checked out, were looked into, and those are employees where they found child porn on where they were suspected of doing child porn. Only 3,500 out of 5,200 were looked into. Then just partially, only 320 were really looked into. And then out of the 320, 70 were like very much more like looked into, and out of the 70, a single digit amount were prosecuted. It went from 5,200 to like single digit. And then you hear this man, the director of the DSS, saying the amount of child porn he sees on these government computers are unbelievable. Unbelievable. He's shocked. And this is not somebody who gets shocked a lot. He worked in counterintelligence for years. So you can only imagine what he's seen in the past. For him to be shocked, that means that the amount he was seeing was just unbelievable, like he said. So this, you understand now, you're like, okay, it's getting a little too much. Then I bring up the testimonies of women who being tortured with their children, their young children. So you see the pattern of things, and then you hear the testimonies of a woman saying how she's seeing the babies that she works for being tortured sexually, and then doesn't end there. The mass shooting that just ended up happening when 18 people were killed. Yes, they were calling him a pedophile. Killed 18 people. And what they have to counter that, we have the childlike individuals, just like Robin Duncan was saying, where they like try to make you believe it's anything bad, this large government. This trash comes out and says something, and we dare it, and it goes back. They like to do things to diverge, to disorient you. When I make these testimonials and talk about what's happening, in the midst of me doing these videos, they have bottom feeders who comes out and say random things to disorient you. Usually what they like to do, for example, right now they say, I'll be teared. I'm going to be raped and they're going to tear me. She's saying that because she understands that what I just said about the obvious patterns, that there's obviously pedophilia kind of type of tormenting, but they're so far they torture children and even caused the mass shooting where they call somebody a pedophile and he killed 18 people. Matter of fact, they can't even say Roy Moore. So that's when they will come out like, oh, we dare to frame you, you're going to get teared. Why are they saying that now? It's because it's just so much ongoing that I'm saying there's so much obviousness that show a pattern, a clear pattern that they do this nastiness. They manipulate people in these disgusting ways. They do the pedophilia type of torture. Matter of fact, I was in bed. There was a picture of Kanye West and his daughter. I used to be able to see that normally, fine, all the time. Now, the way they were playing my genitals, they would try to find ways to kind of set like in a smooth way, create stimulation, but not be too intense because I used to be able to see that normally. Try to condition my brain in this way and then send these retards like, nah, they are still there. It's a piece of shit. They don't want to be seen at all because they know that I even have some aggression in the sense that it's just too obvious. I've called them pedophiles in their faces. Now, imagine if I called them pedophiles before this article even exposed the amount. Now it's just beyond. The way I've seen them is there is no escape. Like, there is no escaping the reality what they're part of. And the fact that they try to play this feminism too. Oh, imagine a woman literally say, there's so many female. What kind of female? What kind of, you're not even a woman. That's the trash. They're not even that. They're nothings. They are a bunch of bottom feeders who are trash, who sold their soul to pedophiles and even torture infants. And I know that. There's no escapism. When I see them, I know you torture children. I know you cause mass shooting. I know you torture babies. I know you torture women. I know there's a bunch of pedos, 5,200, accidentally caught in that just Operation Flicker investigation. I know the director of DSS agrees. You piece of shit. I'm never gonna let them live the fantasy. The reality of what they are is what they project onto you. And so for me, those entities with all kind of issues that causes mass shooting, that do horrible things, these cowards that have caused some of the foulest things in the safest ways, are just the bottom feeders. I can't even dare to say Roy Moore. I can never let them live the fantasy. Yesterday they make me think, oh, we're gonna talk to this child lawyer. Oh my goodness. I was like, I can't wait to see a child lawyer involve themselves in this. I want to see a man or woman who's involved in protection of children, who can try to look at me as I know what they do to children and the horrible things they've done to children. They'll try to make me think, oh, but when you were a kid, remember what you did? It's like, you know what a kid can do? Stupid things. And then they try to even say, no, remember because when I was like in middle school, there's a way I used to like, my father when I was a kid used to hit me like this. He used to use the two finger and hit my forearm like that. and it wasn't really painful, but if the act itself looked more painful than it actually felt, right? My mother, when she beat me, she actually used a stick completely and just used to beat me, right? She did it once because I wasn't talking. But this thing was just like more like, I was like, oh, I was like, okay, it's just nothing. And they're like, no, remember when you did that to this girl, like you did this to this. I did that to the little girl, like that was living with me. I was like, I hit her like this, using the two finger on the forearm, and boom. It's like, you see, that's child abuse. I'm like, what? Do you understand? They do these horrible things to children where this, forget about the sexual torture. They do this Department of Defense technology weapons and they apply down to children, burning them, suffocating them, blinding them, getting them sick. I'm like, I wish that you would try even say something like that. Blinding them, like one of these child said, a 9-year-old, blinded. I'm not even talking about the sexual torture. Just other torture that's non-sexual. Sickening them, teeth decaying, migraines and all kind of things, just noise in their heads that just kind of make them go crazy. I mean, things that just burning their hands. They're like, ouch. They're like, these people, I understand that's their job. The reason why I make videos is because they are truly want you to break down and accept this bubble of reality. When I have these videos, for me, it brings back to reality of who is interacting with me, what they're involved in, and what they're part of. There are nasty lowlife that are currently involved in a program that does some of the most terrible things you've ever heard done to children, using some of the most advanced weaponry onto children. They want you to never to kind of disassociate them from the reality of what they're part of. That's why they don't like to be seen. And then you find the cherries on top of the cherries. They're finding there's a bunch of pedophiles in these agencies who obviously are more in charge than these bottom feeders. Me, I'm here because my employer put me in this program, but the entities really in charge of this are not these people living next door to me or wherever. These people are just, okay, they are tasked to do this thing. But the people really running the show are in the Pentagon and Langley. This nastiness, just nothingness are just the bottom feeders that were like, nah, man, you came and say Roy Moore. It's not, you're nothing. You're just a fucking shit. The government utilize to trash people. You think there's somebody whose money it is will be in this building? They're in the Pentagon. Maybe down in child porn, who knows? But they're a piece of shit, they're just nothings. And for me, even the fact that I can say Roy Moore, and listen, you're going to hear me say that a lot in my videos because I know these people are restricted to say that name. They say it in ways that you don't even know if they say it because they can't say it. They will say something like, yo, Moore, right? And in my head, it sounds like Roy Moore. You understand the humiliation? The reason why I keep saying his name is because, as they love to say, it's our world, it's our money. You can't even say that name. So I know who's running this show. But I understand that you feel special. The empowerment of knowing what's going to happen to me and being how I'm going to be taught like that, they feel like, oh my God, we won. Trash, you can't even say Roy Moore. You never won. I'm just enduring. I'd rather get castrated. There's no torture, like the humiliation. They used to love to be seen. They used to be very visible. Now I'm listening to them. When they try to be visible is when they try to distract me from listening to what the horrible issues in these agencies with pedophilia. I'm like, I dismiss it. You just try to distract me from this, you piece of shit. So to my target individual, this morning was just more of a just me kind of venting. But one thing is for sure, With time, as much as my brain is being fried up, I've been validated more and more and more, and I'm thankful to God. Now, while I'm asking for God to give me strength for this horrible thing I'm going to go through, these people at this point, with the humiliation of reality, they are living off what I'm going to experience as if it's going to change the reality of what they're part of. I'm so thankful that in my life, the satisfaction, the excitement of my life has never been awaiting a torture of somebody. I am so thankful. And the reason why that would be a satisfaction is because that is going to stop the reality check that this person keeps bringing up. That I am involved in a program that does these horrible things to even babies and to women. And this torture that he's going to experience will shut him up or shut her up, so I can live in my deluded reality where I can pretend that I'm this femme fatale, fierce woman who can't say Roy Moore, but I will never say it. I'll say it in a way that's very timid. Like, I'll wait for somebody to say it and say, Roy Moore. Like, somebody just said that right now in a way that you can't even hear. Like the proper bottom fears that they are. They know better. I'm just thankful. There is no stabbing, and it's like, how you gonna be stabbed? It's like, oh my gosh, and then how you gonna die? Do you understand how dignified this makes me feel? Like, I don't want to be suffered, but I understand. I'm like, you feel like there's a bunch of trash around you, where their life has just been just working for pedophiles, and you're somehow a dignified being, not perfect, but I've become so dignified. And like I said, just let me wrap this up. Just to wrap this up, I'm just thankful for that. Now, I'm also asking God, give me the strength for what I'm going to go through, because these people you have humiliated in ways that they need to feel better about themselves. You show how much of losers they are. You show how much pathetic low life they are. They can't even say Roy Moore. You show how they try to even counter the fact there's a bunch of pedophiles in these agencies. They would try to mock that at first. It was like, oh, so many, how? So many. And then, obviously, they were right. There were so many. Then, the mass shooting just happened, just to add the more cherry, where this man who was being called a pedophile killed 18 people. Then you have this Robin Dawkins just exposed, like just giving exactly step by step exactly what's going through. You hear these childlike individuals who try to make it seem like it's our money, was anything by this mass government. This is, thank you. To the point that even people who are not having to live in that bubble 24/7, come in that bubble, they're just so humiliated. They just want to get out of here. It's just too much. But these retards have been desensitized to think that they're normal. But it looks like just like what you hear. I've been validated that they torture children sexually. You know how what they say to kind of counter that? Oh, we choose. So basically, they're saying we could choose to torture children or not, but we didn't choose to torture children. It's like, wow, that's the life of these bottom feeders. We're gonna let the other ones do that. We choose you. Oh, okay. You understand? It's so pathetic. And to counter that, what else did you like to say? Because you just heard what I said. I think we're gonna castrate you, cast you, break you down. I was like, yes, because you chose to not torture a child. You understand how nasty you bottom feeder are? It's still nasty. It's so sad. I couldn't live like that. Now, because I said what I just said. And by the way they do this pedophilia type of torture, out of 1,000, there was a survey. Almost all of them, I said they forced child porn in their brain. This is the people mapping. Then you hear Jackie, may she rest in peace, talk about try to make her think in this pedophilia ways. Mariana, I don't know if she's dead or not, but it sounds like she is. Talking about pedophilia type of torture. And you know what they're holding on? We mapped it to you when you were a kid. You understand how embarrassing it is? You heard all the things I said, the torture of children included, sexual torture, children, 3-year-old, all of that I know. 4 or 5-year-old, Down syndrome, tortured sexually, all of that I know. They know that very well because I make sure that they hear that. And what they talk about me as a kid. Okay. Okay. You see why they need to escape from reality. And they think my torture is going to do that. For all these children and women and men and all these horrible things, they're going to be reimbursed properly. They've chosen not to choose, even if they didn't choose to torture women and children, but they involve themselves in a program that children and women are tortured. This piece of shit they will be reimbursed the way it needs to be. Now for me, like I said, I'm asking God to give me strength because these bottom feeders have been so humiliated that they're going to need to do something to try to counter this reality. They sold their soul to pedophiles. They're so mean. They're pedos. They're so mean. They hurt babies. I know that. They don't even want to be seen. They're terrified of being seen because I know they torture babies. I know that. And so they talk about they're going to implant child porn. You see, right on, it fits the culture. They talk about how they're going to frame me with these kids. And you hear these kids like, sorry. It's like, no, boo-boo, do your thing. Watch how it comes back to you. Oh, there's nobody who lives a good life doing what you do, for sure. Please understand that. For sure, your parents sold your soul. I'm sorry. Sorry for that. But for you, good for you. I'd rather die in the horrible places than having to imagine if I was a father who asked my child or coerced my child, or a mother who coerced her child to frame somebody. Gosh, I just sent my child to fucking hell. Thank you, God. Now, like I said, I will need strength to deal with this torture because these people are craving for my torture as if it's going to change reality. They've been humiliated by reality. They wanted to escape into a fantasy. In my brain right now, they're creating battles with culture, the retardation, try to distort things and project reality. Well, the culture they're in is pedophilia centric. Me, they're like, oh no, when you're a child, in Africa, whatever, when you're a kid, it's okay. It's okay to feel like that. When you're like, you're retarded. You're just retarded. Thank you, God. And so I could have been somebody who've been craving to see somebody being tortured for the sake that I've been humiliated so bad that I hope that that's going to change that. Oh, he's been provoking us by telling the truth. He's been provoking us by bringing a mirror to our face. Oh, you're going to be raped so bad and tortured and fisted and double-fisted. And that's the things they say. I'll get ready to get fisted. Like, can you imagine if you lived that life? These people are just asking for anything to come back to them. I could have lived this life. You see who's talking this trash? Like, you are so pathetic. Can you imagine me saying, oh, can't wait to get fisted, you piece of shit, you pathetic low life. I'm just so thankful. I'm just so thankful that this is not a life that I ever had. I don't envy this shit. Who would want to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it, you're gonna fist it, then you'll cry, you'll be wailing like a baby, wailing. Jesus. So to all my target individual, my sufferance is dignified in the sense that it gives me honor. And they use different tonality as if that's going to change reality. I'm just thankful I didn't harm any of these bottom feeders. They're trash. They're going to get theirs. Let them get whatever kills them. Let that be the death they die from. Now don't dirty my hands. Keep me dignified. So to all my target individuals, stay strong.